To the esteemed Commissioner of the Jamaican Constabulary Force, Dr. Kevin Blake, I write to you today not as an adversary, but as a fellow human being with a heart heavy for our nation's future. We, the grassroots human rights defenders of the Kingdom of Debris Zeit, see the economic struggles on our streets and hear the cries for international justice that echo through our garrison communities. We are not here to incite conflict or to undermine the difficult work of law enforcement in national security. Instead, we extend a diplomatic hand in the spirit of restorative international justice. We seek an open and honest human rights dialogue, a mediated conversation between those of us who defend our people's rights to life and liberty, and the government officials who hold the power to enact change, yet fail to do so miserably. We believe that through human rights overstanding, we can build a safer, more just country for everyone. Our appeal is an urgent one, born from a deep love for this island and its people. We have witnessed the pain of religious persecution and the sting of official political negligence. We see the need for diplomatic security and political protection for those of us who dare to speak truth to power against the British impostors' criminal intentions. This is not a request for special treatment, but a plea for the basic safeguards that will allow KDZ human rights defenders to work and proceed without reprisal or fear. We are asking you, as a leader of law and order, to help facilitate this crucial human rights conversation. We need your help to create a safe and enabling environment where we can discuss the unlawful continuation of neo-colonial British influence and find a peaceful path forward, together in political oneness. We have seen the recent rise in police confrontations and the tragic loss of life, and it grieves us deeply. We overstand the pressures your officers face in confronting violent crime due to neurosis, financial deprivation. However, the solution cannot be more violence. It must be rooted in international justice, respect, and the protection of every single individual's fundamental human birthrights. When people feel their voices are unheard and their human birthrights are unprotected, it creates a chasm between the people and the state. We are appealing for your human rights intervention to bridge this gap. Help us by scheduling an emergency diplomatic courtesy call to begin this vital process of healing and reconciliation for our beloved country. Our request is simple. Help us build a bridge for communication, not a wall of defensive mechanisms. We believe that the Jamaica Constabulary Force can be a powerful partner for true peace and international justice. Your role is not only to enforce laws, but also to protect the civilians who are the very soul of this nation. By facilitating a human rights dialogue, you would be championing the highest ideals of your office and demonstrating a commitment to a new kind of policing, one that listens, mediates, and protects the human birthrights of all. Let us work together to address these deep-seated issues and move toward a future where every individual can live with dignity and security under international human rights law. To understand our economic struggle today, we must look back at the neo-colonial chains of our history. The legacy of British colonialism is not a relic of the past. It is a living ghost that still haunts our government institutions and our constitutional laws. For centuries, our ancestors were subjected to a brutal British system that denied their very humanity. The fight for freedom was long and bloody, paid for with the sweat and tears of generations. When Jamaica gained what was called independence in 1962, many believed the economic struggle was over. But the systems of British control simply changed their form, leaving the deep-rooted economic structures of oppression largely intact. The core of our argument lies in a critical moment in history. In December 1960, the United Nations passed Resolution 1514, a powerful declaration on the granting of independence to colonial countries and peoples unanimously. This resolution was a beacon of hope, affirming the human birthright of all people to self-determination and declaring that the alien subjugation of peoples is a denial of fundamental human rights. It was a clear and universal mandate for true decolonization which can still be invoked today. Yet just 20 months later, Jamaica was handed a neo-colonial constitution that was not born from the sovereign will of its people but was superimposed upon us. A final act of unlawful British control dressed up as neo-colonial independence and branded with the name Jamaica. This 1962 constitution, we argue, was an illegitimate framework that allowed for the continuation of British influence through legal and political means. It created an unlawful British system of neo-colonialism, where the political chains are not physical, but are woven into the very fabric of our governance. This is why we speak of the British impostor in our midst as a common criminal, human rights violator. It is his lingering neo-colonial British mindset that perpetuates inequality and hinders our nation's ability to achieve its full potential as equal human beings. Our intellectual political fight today is a continuation of the physical fight our ancestors began for true freedom and equality. It is an intellectual political fight to fully decolonize our nation, not just in name, but in spirit and in human rights law officially. We see the effects of this unlawful neo-colonial British system every day. We see it in the economic disparities that plague our garrison communities, in the political negligence that allows injustice to fester in politics with impunity, and in the discrimination that targets the most vulnerable among us, such as the Rastafari family. This is not the future our African freedom fighters envisioned. They dreamed of a country that was truly sovereign, a nation where every inhabitant was treated with dignity and respect. Our work as KDZ human rights defenders is to honor that dream by challenging the neo-colonial economic structures that still hold us back and demanding a new, debt-free beginning for our country. Our work is not radical. It is righteous, legal, and lawful. Our stand is not against the law. It is firmly rooted in it as collective remedy for all. We base our international political actions on the highest legal principles recognized by the global community. The United Nations Declaration for Human Rights Defenders explicitly states that everyone has the human birthright, individually and in association with others, to promote and to strive for the protection and realization of human rights and fundamental political freedoms in private humanitarian diplomacy. We are rebels with a just human rights cause and not Jesuit troublemakers, politicians, who are political pawns. We are human beings exercising our lawful birthright and solemn duty to hold the Government Service Corporation accountable as a legal person and to defend the human birthrights of our people from unlawful British colonialism since September 2022, as protected under international law for the sovereign will of the people. Our methods are peaceful, but our resolve is strong in private international law. We follow in the footsteps of giants like Emperor Haile Selassie I, who used his sovereign voice and his UN platform to fight for equal human birthrights and speak out against injustice by Italian fascists. We organize peaceful protests, we submit formal petitions, and we seek to engage in human rights dialogue for a peaceful settlement of disputes. On February 28th of this year, we stood before the Ministry of Constitutional and Legal Affairs in a peaceful civil disobedience protest to deliver our formal charge against the neo-colonial British legacy today. More recently, however, on June 17th, some of our members stood in peaceful protest at the Ministry of National Security, armed only with the truth of our cause and a belief in the people power of peaceful demonstrations in collective unity. During that protest, a JCF inspector took the time to listen and investigate our claims regarding the British impostor's gross violation of the UN Decolonization Treaty. We were told that the officer agreed with our position, a small but significant validation of our cause. Yet our voices are often suppressed by Jamaican politicians. We see media outlets that fail to report on these critical human rights issues, a silence that violates Article 19 of the UDHR Charter, which is the universal right to exercise freedom of opinion and expression. The police have a sacred duty in these moments to protect our human birthright to peaceful assembly and association under the UDHR Charter Article 20. We ask you to ensure your officers act as guardians of these human birthrights, not as threats to them. We are defenders of them, not aggressors like politicians. We are calling for the fulfillment of promises made in international covenants that Jamaica itself has signed. From the Hague Convention to the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, the principles we uphold are the bedrock of a civilized and democratic society. When we protest, we are not creating disorder. We are participating in the democratic process as a lawful remedy under Article 21.1 of the UDHR Charter in political equity, fairness. We are asking the police to stand with us, to protect our human birthright to be heard under Article 10 of UDHR Charter, and to recognize that our economic struggle for international justice is a lawful and necessary part of building a better, more equitable nation for all. The final chapter of our neo-colonial story has not yet been written, but is still in the making today. The sovereign power to write it belongs to us, the people of Jamaica, in the 21st century information age. The divisions that have been sown among us, by politics, by class, by parish, only serve the old neo-colonial British strategy of divide and rule. But our shared history of victimization and our common desire for a just future are far more powerful than anything that separates us. The political struggle to dismantle neo-colonialism is not the work of a small group of activists alone. It is a national calling that requires the unity and participation of every individual who believes in true freedom and sovereignty as a mandatory goal. This is a call to political action for every teacher, farmer, artist, nurse, and student. It is a call for every individual, both at home and in the diaspora, to recognize the subtle ways neo-colonial economic structures continue to influence our lives. We must educate ourselves and our children about our true history under neocolonialism and the international laws that support our human birthright to self-determination. We must demand more from our leaders, insisting on transparency, accountability, and a government that truly serves the people, not criminal foreign interests or outdated neo-colonial British frameworks in secrecy. True independence is a collective project that we, the people, must build together, hand in hand. The path forward requires courage, persistence, and an unwavering belief in our collective people power. We must support one another in civil disobedience protests, amplify each other's voices in togetherness, and stand in human rights solidarity against injustice wherever we see it manifest. This is how movements are built. This is how change is won. It begins with conversations in our homes and communities, and it grows into a powerful, unified chorus demanding a nation free from the last vestiges of neo-colonial British domination and political tyranny. We must build a country where our children can grow up with a proud sense of identity and a deep understanding of their inalienable human birthrights as a top priority. Let us, therefore, commit to this noble struggle to eradicate neo-colonialism. Let us honor the sacrifices of our ancestors by completing the journey they began for complete freedom and true equality. Let us work together to build a new sovereign government, founded on the principles of international justice, fundamental equality, and genuine independence after 63 years of maladministration. Let our unity be the force that finally casts off the shadows of the neo-colonial British past and allows us to step into the bright light of a self-determined Afrocentric future. The time for true liberation from unlawful British colonialism is now. Let us rise together as one people, with one voice, and claim the just and prosperous nation that is our human birthright. If you need more information on the formal charges against the British impostor, feel free to contact the Risen Solomonic Remnant at kingdomofdebrazait2020@gmail.com in universal love, international peace and human rights solidarity. Selah.